this meeting of the Maine Township Board. And I think the first thing we should do is say pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Assessor Fry.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Bouvet. Here. Richie Alana's here. Supervisor Diamond.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Horvath. Trustee Maher. Here. Trustee Malik.
Yeah. For the record, Trustee Horvath called me or texted me and said she was ill this evening and would not be able to attend.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So let's proceed with the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 28th, 2024?
Motion to approve the minutes of May 28th, 2024.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or corrections?
I have something just on page 3, towards the bottom. I did make a comment about senior freeze exemptions not appearing on the tax bill, but it makes it looking like all of them are not on it. We just audited and found like around 300 of the ones that we did, so it's not all of them, it's a portion of.
So you said something slightly different.
I just said, okay, yeah, it looks like it's everybody, but that's not the
So you
case.
just change it
What-
to a
what,
portion of the tax bill.
Exactly.
So
Thank you.
what do you think it should, how should it read for the benefit?
It should be a portion of the senior freeze exemptions will not appear. A portion of, I'm sorry, girls.
Do you have that, ladies?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so move it and second, do you accept that change?
Yes, I'll make a motion to make that change pursuant to what Susan just said.
Second.
Thank you.
Is there a
Second.
All right.
Or Austin seconded it.
Sorry. So we have a motion on the table to approve the minutes as just suggested they be amended. Any comments or questions for the matter?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes. All right, thank you. All right. I have a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of June 7, 2024 and June 21st, 2024, and general assistant checks 554032, check 55436 in the amount of $31,186.59.
Second.
Any comments? None? Roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have a motion to approve the road district expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of June 7th, 2024 and June 21st, 2024, road district checks number 23450 through check number 23496 in the amount of $109,898.37.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the general town fund expenditures.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve payroll for pay dates of June 7th, 2024 and June 21st, 2024, and general town fund checks number 61099 through checks number 61153 in the total amount of $276,533.38.
Second.
Okay, all right, any questions? Roll call.
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Malik.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. So we have any requests for public participation? Thank you very much. All right. Okay, all right. This is by Kate North, and Kate is actually our auditor. He's the next person on our agenda. So anyway, you don't really have to come under public participation as you have your own entry under the agenda, but that's just fine, that's fine. So we will move right to that since we do not have any other requests for public participation. So, Mr. Stewart, would you like to perhaps come up to the microphone, which is over here by the podium, and tell us about the report, the 2024 annual financial report, which we have a copy in our board packet.
All right. It's
Doesn't sound like it.
there we go. All right. So, as Supervisor Diamond mentioned, my name is McKay Thorpe. I'm an audit manager for Lauterbach and Amon. This is our third year as your auditors, and I've been a part of the audit for all 3 of those years. Last year I did this presentation as well. And very happy to say it's going to be a lot of repeat of all the good news of last year. And so to get into that, I'd just like to say thank you to Supervisor Diamond, Dana, Vicki, and Ruba for all their help. They have a typical 9-to-5 job that, as the audit, we come in and we add more stress and more things to their plate, and they're always well prepared. The audit went very smoothly, and so we thank that for all their extra hard work and all that. So to begin, we will be going through the booklet, and we will be going on page number 1. It's titled Independent Auditor's Report. So what this page is it is your audit opinion for fiscal year February 29, 2024. The township, once again, received an unmodified opinion, which is consistent with what has been received in the past. And what this opinion states is that through our testing, we found that the financial statements were free of any material misstatements. And also we looked into the internal controls, and we didn't find any material weaknesses there. So congratulations again on receiving an unmodified opinion, which is the highest opinion that we can provide. Moving on to page number 4. This is the beginning of your management's discussion and analysis. Essentially what these next few pages go through is it provides more of a narrative of what the fiscal year looked like. It provides comparisons to last fiscal year to see if there were increases or decreases. It also provides a kind of graph and charts more to kind of get more of an image. The best part about these pages is it allows the township to explain in its own words why certain things increased or decreased. So we'll move on to page number 14. This is the beginning of your financial statements, which is the balance sheet for your governmental activities. So these are all the funds, including your capital assets combined. You flip over to page 16 and 17. This is the governmental activities level again, that is showing your revenues and expenditures. And you flip again to page number 18. You see this looks familiar with assets, liabilities, and fund balances, but this one shows at a fund level, which is probably what you're used to seeing with the town general assistance and road and bridge. And this is showing your assets, liabilities, deferred items, and your fund balance. And if you flip over to page 20, once again, this is on the fund level. That's the income statement. So the revenues and expenditures, and then your fund balance, but showing from the income statement side. Once again, it's broken down by town, general assistance, and road and bridge. So kind of information you can get from here. You can see that there were increases in the fund balance by about, for town fund, and specifically it was about 21%. So by looking at these figures and And later in the presentation, I'll point to a page where it does budget actual. You can kind of see how the ending fund balance came about. So that's just kind of like a general information you can get from that statement. If you flip over to page number 22, this is the beginning of the notes to the financial statements. This is very dense material of all the accounting standards and methodology that we used when conducting our audit. I'm not going to go too deep into this. It's very technical, and I'll probably put you all to sleep by just reading a few pages in. So essentially what these pages say is what we did and how we came about our audited numbers. So then you go to page number 50. So as I mentioned earlier, what this kind of schedules in the next few pages go through is it goes, and it's by town, general assistance, and road and bridge. It shows the actual, so we have the original budget, the final budget if there was an amendment, and then what the actual figures were. And you can kind of look to see what certain accounts may have gone over budget or under budget that caused the ending fund balance to be. Also, there's a 2023 actual column where you can see what the balances were in the prior year. So I'm going to take a pause there before I get into the management letter. Are there any questions before I move on?
Questions from any board members or elected officials?
Just that last question, that last comment on page 50, that means we were $50,000 under budget in 24, and what is 23? Because we even.
So 23 actual, so there was no activity within that line. So there was a budget of 50,000. In 24, there was no activity. In 23, there was no activity.
So that's what that line means, no activity.
Yeah, so zero. Yep, zero.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So we will move on to the smaller booklet. It's titled the management letter. So if there's another booklet over. Okay.
Huh?
There's no small booklet.
No, I didn't see it.
Not that it doesn't exist, it just isn't
Yeah,
on
it
the
just wasn't in our.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Well, we do send a PDF copy, so if you want to see, there's a PDF copy that's available. All right, so before I get into the management letter, just want to kind of give a brief background to what the management letter is. It's just recommendations that we come about from the audit. We have to follow GASB, which is the Government Accounting Standard Board. They release recommendations that we then pass on to municipalities just to make sure that they're operating to the best of your abilities. So for this year, there were two new current year recommendations. They are both GASB standards that will be implemented for the next fiscal year. First one is GASB 100, which is accounting changes and error corrections. So essentially what this will get into is if the township was to change certain accounting methodologies or strategies, we would have to then just have more documentation. And then the next standard that will be implemented is GASB 101, constant absences. Once again,
Materials or no, that's separate. I'm writing that down. Is that
Separate.
materials? Yeah, thanks. It's from your
It
separate.
wasn't, it was in our.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's what I wanted to know.
Dana, could you possibly print that out?
It's on
I
ready.
think it was attached to one of the things that you sent us
on the
maybe a
email.
month ago with the audit. But we didn't get a separate printed copy of it, so that's why it didn't get in the board packet.
Okay.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
He's always
Yeah, I think-
got
Is it referred to as on the?
management letter?
Is that referred to as management
Management
letter?
letter. Yep.
That's the name of the attachment.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
But you can just tell us in the meantime what
Yeah,
what
yeah,
generally a management letter is.
Yeah, so Obviously, yeah, it just goes into recommendations that we come about, that either there's new standards that are being passed for the next fiscal year. Just want to make sure that the township's aware of it, so there's no surprises. For example, there were 2 prior GASB standards that I'll go into further later on, that we worked with Dana and her team to kind of help implement and make sure to see is it applicable to the township or not. And then other than standards, there might be policies that GASB recommends that municipalities have in place, have written, that our board approved. And also there could be certain operation findings they find, but glad to say there's none of that found. It's more of just standards and one policy. I'll wait till.
Okay, now, I think the one policy that you're talking about is the fund balance.
Correct, yes.
Because we had this discussion last year, and maybe
Correct.
even the year before, too, I can't remember.
Probably.
And you recommended a number of policies, and we enacted some of them. One was the capitalization policy. Another was, I think,
Outstanding checks.
Outstanding check codes.
Investment policy.
Investment policy. So
Yeah.
you did enact all those policies.
Correct, we enacted those last year.
Right. There was one policy you recommended, which we did not enact. I think we just, I don't know, we either didn't agree on what it should be, or we decided we didn't need it. And that was the maximum amount that should be in a fund. Is that the recommended policy?
Correct, yep, so that would be included in the fund balance policy. So the fund balance policy has both the minimum and maximum.
Okay, all right. So I think we decided that when it was in terms of the maximum amount, we actually have a statutory maximum, which is given to us by the Illinois legislature, saying that the maximum we should have in any particular fund is 2.5.
Right.
So I think we decided that that was what we would say was our goal for our maximum. Because that's what the legislature told us that we had to abide by.
Right.
So, is that your recollection, Ed, to
I think they follow
the
the statute
highway
says.
fund?
Yeah, it comes in handy sometimes.
Yeah.
On occasion.
Yeah. I don't know if we set any minimum fund balance. I don't know if we had any discussion with that.
Yeah, so what our recommendation would be is, if a policy is in place that the township is following, we just recommend having it in writing, having it approved by the board, just so it's clear to everybody, and that, if anybody, if new board members were to come in, or if there's any turnover, it's clear and everyone knows where to reference.
And should we simply say our policy is will abide by the statute? Is that sufficient for
So
purposes?
we have like a template that kind of has all the legal wording in there, kind of has some help there. So we can definitely provide that, and then the hard figures for what you want to follow. That's 100% up to the township and the board, whatever the board sees fit. Obviously, every municipality and township has a different story, right? So whatever the board or township feels fit is we're on board with. There's no right or wrong answer.
All right, okay. All right, maybe we can just take a minute or two and we'll just look through this and give the board members an opportunity to look at this. Letter.
When did they release the 2023 tax levy? Because the tax bills are published now. Do you know?
I don't know. I would recommend reaching out to the county. They would definitely know more about that than I do. Hopefully soon.
All right, so you have some recommendations. Do you want to walk just through each one real quickly? Starting with number 1.
Yeah, so we have 2 current year recommendations. They're both, so GASB is Government Accounting Standard Board. They essentially tell us how the financials need to be audited. So there's 2 new standards. That will be coming out next, that will apply to the township in the next fiscal year. So the first one is GASB 100. This is accounting changes and error corrections. So if there's any township ways to change certain accounting methods or strategies, essentially it's just more documentation. And then GASB 101, which is compensate absences. So this goes into for employees, if they were to leave at a certain set date, how much they would be paid out. There's just going to be more documentation around here. We're waiting on GASB to come out with more literature on this, but we'll have trainings, and luckily we're still a few months away, so.
So there's nothing we can really do with respect to these two recommendations so far? is that
Correct, it's just more like a heads up.
Okay, all right.
And then.
Then you're getting to the prior recommendations.
Yep, so there were 3 of them. So first 2, I'm sorry, broken clock here. Once again, GASB standards. First one is GASB 96, subscription-based information technology and arrangements. So through our testing, we found that there were no software that was material enough for the township, so this standard is not applicable to the township as of fiscal year 2024. So then the next one is GASB 94. This is the private, public, and public partnerships and availability payment arrangements. And speaking with Dana and her team, there were no, this essentially looks at to see if a third party is contracted under the township to run a certain operation. A good example of this is Park District sometimes utilize a third party golf course company to kind of help run the golf course. That's kind of the main area we've seen, and through discussions and our testing, we didn't find that there were any applicable situations for the standard. And then the last priority recommendation that was repeated, as Supervisor Diamond mentioned, is the fund balance policy, which if there's any questions I can go into, but it sounds like we're already discussing it, so it's good.
Okay, and so with respect to the first 2 prior recommendations, there's really nothing we can do now about that.
Those are implemented, so those will be removed next year.
Okay, and that leaves only the fund balance policy. So I just open it up to the other trustees. Is there anything you want to do? Do you want me to draft a policy that says we'll follow the law, or do you want to set a minimum one, or do you have any preference?
Oh, I thought we did this last year.
You know, I thought we did it too, but I don't remember actually.
I remember this discussion.
I do remember the
Yeah.
discussion, we discussed it for sure, that we didn't, my recollection is we didn't agree on a fund minimum, and just said that we were going to rely on the law for the fund maximum.
Okay, but I don't think we actually wrote a policy, a
No,
written
I
policy.
agree. I
Let's,
think we did.
Yeah, and we had a discussion of why we didn't do the fund minimum.
So the fund minimum, we highly recommend having some type of minimum fund balance. In GASB statement 54, there's where it mentions the positives of having a minimum fund balance. The good kind of example we use is it's for a rainy day. GASB recommends about 25% of your operating expenditures within your minimum fund balance. So, you know, if roof was to get damaged or something that you didn't budget for was to happen, there's enough fund balance in there to kind of help cover those costs, kind of keeps it healthy. So that's what GASB recommends, and we're going to listen to GASB where they recommend having a minimum fund balance. And once again, they recommend 25%. I've seen as low as only 1 month. I've seen as high as a whole year. So it's, once again, it's 100% up to the board, whatever the township seems fit.
Well, I don't know, we don't have all our board members here. I don't know if it's something that's urgent. Maybe we could discuss that at our next meeting.
And I can send you a template, Karen. So
All right,
you kind of have it.
thanks very much. That,
Also, we can review the transcripts from the other meetings when we did discuss it.
Hey, I tied it up from last year, it looks like we said, we adopted 3 out of the 4 policies, but we did not adopt the fund balance policy because it was not necessary given the maximum on our accumulation under the wall.
Impressive memory, very, thank you.
Impressive notes.
Impressive.
Oh, I just pulled the minutes up on the website, actually.
Yeah.
That helps. It's still a good memory, though.
Okay, all right. Well, does anyone have any other questions of Kate? Any of the elected officials?
I guess we didn't think we needed it, right, Kurt? Is that what?
what we did say,
The
yeah.
minimum.
All right, thanks.
I know we had a discussion about the minimum, I
I'm
can't.
surprised we didn't, okay.
There was a reason.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk about it again next month. Maybe it'll come to us. Okay. All right, with that, I just want to say thank you, Kate, for
Thank
your work, and to the staff members who work with Kate. It does take up a lot of their time to pull all this together, but it was done timely and without
Very
much
timely.
disruption to the office as you were here. Seems like you weren't here very long, you were very quiet, so it was.
Hey, that's a good thing to hear from
Yeah.
us, right? You want to hear from them.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
you.
Good job.
See you next year.
Yeah. Yes. You were unanimous, by the way.
All right. Okay, we will move on then to old business. And the first thing we have on our agenda is discussion on possible vote regarding building improvements. And this is very old business in the sense that we keep talking about this here every month. And our attempts to finish off the construction that we hope to do in the clerk's area in terms of putting a door in there so that people do not walk into the clerk's area sort of on purpose or unwittingly and just walk into the middle of the business that they're doing. So last time, you may recall, we had been told by Park Ridge that we had to engage an architect, and I think it was suggested that we ask that Park Ridge official to come and talk to our meeting. We did do that. He basically said no. He was not going to come here. He saw his role as being, telling us whether or not we had complied, but not giving us further direction as to how we should comply. So I think that the clerk's office actually has some belief as to what type of improvement they would like. And I think they want a solid door there that would clearly separate their area from the restrooms. And it is the type of door that we would need architectural drawings for, according to Park Ridge.
Yeah, we've discussed it within our department, and we just feel that a solid door is what's going to make the most sense there, really be a deterrent for people entering into the area, which happens almost on a weekly basis. So, a half gate or anything like that's not really kind of solving the problem, at least in our eyes. So that is kind of what we're looking to have done.
Okay, all right. And is that sort of both for safety and for just, not
Twofold.
disturbing their work there?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I think most people just are back there, accidentally coming out and getting turned around coming out of the washroom. But it definitely is also a safety concern for my staff as well.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. So in your packet, you have a memo that Dana prepared last month, giving you the timeline up to that point, and just brought you up to date as to what's happened during the past month. And you see some emails from Stephen Stephens. He's the building official at the city of Park Ridge. I think that we're at the point that we do need to engage an architect if we're going to move forward with this. And I think that's where we are right now. And this, Dan?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You did contact a number of architects to try to get a quote for the type of work that we want done, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And the only quote we got was from Spoke Architects, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so you have the Spoke Architecture quote in your packet here. And we would like to enter into a contract with them to pay for the architecture services that the village of Park Ridge, the city of Park Ridge, says that we need to proceed with the construction that we want to do. Yes, Jim.
Before we vote, I just have one comment on that, Karen. It seems to me we're getting conflicting opinions by a number of people. Thank you, Dana, for putting these notes together. I think they're excellent. Richard Peters said that these are just minor modifications. And then Rick Mondelli said we just need a basic drawing. And then Stephen Stephens says, well, we definitely need architectural drawings from a person who's licensed. It seems to me we don't have any legal support for that we really do need that. So maybe we should inquire with Kurt or whoever our attorney is going to be on that. Is there Illinois laws that require a licensed design professional, an architect, or a structural engineer to approve every minor repair job that doesn't involve safety, doesn't involve electricity, doesn't involve plumbing, doesn't involve structural foundations, things like that? I mean, it seems to me that maybe Illinois law does not require us to get these architectural drawings before we go forward with the work. We don't have a definitive statement on that. But I agree we need to move it forward. And I also agree that proposal is excellent and fair for the architect. So
Okay.
maybe it's not worth it, but it seems like we need an answer to that.
It seems like we've approached City Hall several different ways, but it always comes back to the final say-so of no, you need the drawings. And
Right.
that's a hurdle that, we've approached from several different ways, but, as they say, you can't fight City Hall.
Right, for example, Mr. Peters was the one I spoke to. He was from the Historical Commission. Because I had talked to him because I knew him through the landmark process, and he said, it's no problem, it's on the inside, you don't need anything, go ahead with it. Well, but apparently he's not a head of the building department, so that's why we have to talk with someone else. The first person that we talked to apparently reported to another person, and then we were referred up the chain to the other person. So that's why we're getting some conflicting information in the process of gathering information.
And I tried to look it up as well, Karen, the Illinois Municipal Code, or
okay.
I looked at Illinois statutes, just tried to do a real quick research. Is there a law that says that? And there may or may not be.
Right.
In Illinois law, especially if you're doing where the public goes in and out. And so one of the doors is, the door that Pete is talking about, the public doesn't go in and out. It's not an entry exit, so who knows if there's really an architectural drawing that's needed for that, an inside door. But
Well, yeah, and you might have noticed that Mr. Stephens listed in his email about 15 different codes that might apply, starting with the International Building Code, which it's really hard to plow through all of these. But it basically comes down to Park Ridge is not going to give us a permit without this.
thank you, he did mention Illinois accessibility code.
Yeah.
So maybe that's arguably
We
important.
talked about egress
Okay.
several times.
All right. Well, other than that, Karen, I agree we should move forward, and the architect's fee looks very reasonable, especially compared to the other one we received,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
frankly outlandish.
Yeah, right.
So,
Could I have a motion to approve this contract subject to approval by our attorneys? And we'll take a look at that, get it back, information back to us, right? And the full amount of this amount here is $3,200. So do I have approval to enter into this contract, again, subject to the approval of our attorneys?
So moved.
second.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Here's a roll call then.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. All right, let's go on to our next whole business. Discussion and possible vote on Mainstay Work From Home program. Well, as you know, Mainstay actually, their members have been working at home for, I think it's 4 months now, under a pilot program and then a successive one. And it seems as though it's been going very well. And so what I'd like to do is make this a semi-permanent program so that we don't, it's no longer a pilot program, it's no longer a temporary thing. It is something that is a permanent program which is available to Mainstay. Now, later in your agenda, we'll come to a resolution to actually amend the personnel code to make that possible for other departments if they choose that in the future. Right now, I have not been told by any other department head that they want to have work from home as possibility for their department as of right now. That could change in the future, but right now, the only one that is asking for working at home and that seems to believe that their work can be efficiently done by their staff at home is the Maine State Department. So, but getting to the one at home, what I'd like to do is get a motion to approve the Maine State Work from Home program so that they can continue in the Maine State Department to work from home as they have been doing.
Motion to approve the Mainstay Work from Home program.
Okay, all right. Jim, would you like to second?
Well, my thoughts are, I'm generally not a big fan of work at home. Karen, I think we should focus more on flex time, which is a concern that more employees have. I don't know how many employees from Mainstay are interested in working at home. I know Richard might be able to speak to that, so I prefer to hold off on that a little bit, but I'm not going to stop the vote if that's what anybody wants to. That's my only concern, is that I think flex time is a more important concern for our employees as opposed to work at home. And I think it also potentially raises legal problems in the future for us, especially if someone is given the work at home privilege and then it's taken away from them. It says that we can change it at any time, and so someone gets used to working at home and then it's taken away from them and they decide to sue us at a later time. So I think it opens us up to litigation potentially, and that's the only reason I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to work at home programs. So for that reason, I would post maybe a little more discussion with our attorney, or I can just abstain. However the board feels best.
So let's see, Kurt, I think you've seen the pilot programs and would have seen this one in our packet here. Did you have any comments or concern about the program?
I'm more happy to take a closer look. I've read through it briefly. Generally, I don't see any concern. It's more of how we want to structure it. I don't think there's a big legal risk from instituting a policy like that. Again, it's really more of making sure that's enforced equally and fairly more than anything specific in the policy.
Didn't we extend it once already?
We extended it, yeah, once. We had a 2-month period, then we had another 2-month period, so we're at the end of the second 2-month period. So, what I'm hoping we can do is just sort of at this point say, okay, it's a permanent program to the extent any program is permanent in the township. And that's what I'd like to do with this one. In terms of the resolution is separate, so we could, vote on that separately if you have concerns about that for some reason. But because the pilot program is technically ending for Mainstay's work at home, I would hope that we could adapt the program so they can continue to work at home, as they have been doing for like 4 months in Mainstay.
Okay, well, let me look at the resolution. If the resolution doesn't say we're making it a permanent thing, then...
Well, the resolution would be for other departments going forward. The Mainstay work from home program, again, it's just allowing Mainstay to continue their work from home program as they have been doing for the past 4 months. And Jim, I agree with you that flex time is appealing to a number of employees, and that's something that we are pursuing with certain other departments too, expanded use of flex time.
Okay. And also it covers more of our departments, right? It sounds like work at home is only applicable to our Mainstay department.
Right now that would be true. Right now that would be true.
Okay.
But under the resolution, it could be expanded to other departments if the department head is agreeable to that, along with myself and the administrator.
Okay.
So that's, it just makes it clear in our handbook that there is such a thing as work at home, but it has to be approved on a department by department basis.
Okay. So 3.31 says we're amending the policies list of police and work, so
Right.
it is what we're voting on today. So.
Well, there's 2 things we're voting on. First of all, under old business, we're voting on the work from home program for Mainstay. And then when we get to new business, because it is new, this resolution is what we would be voting for when we get to new business shortly. Okay, all right.
I'll second it, I guess.
Okay, all
Tim
right.
already made the motion, so.
All right. Any other thoughts, comments, questions?
Nope, not for me.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to approve the Mainstay Work from Home program, which we have here in our packet. May I have a roll call, Mr. Clerk?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Macher?
Yes.
Okay, fine, all right. Then we'll move on to our last old business item, and that is update on the little library. I wish Julie could have been here today. She did send me a text saying that she wanted to come by and pick up the little boxes. And Mayor, I'm looking at you just because I think you talk to Mike perhaps more often than I do. Would you tell them that she wants to come by sometime and get them, and she's going to be painting them? That's what I last heard about that. So that's where we are with that. They're still in the garage, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, hopefully we'll be moving a little longer than that. Do you have any further information that any chance to?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right, okay, fine. All right, then we'll move to new business. All right, here we are, new business. We're looking at the resolution that we just were talking about in the park. And again, this would amend the township's personnel manual, and it would allow work from home where a department has sought to do that and has received the approval of the township administrator and the township supervisor. There's no guarantee made that once a program is started, it will have to be continued indefinitely. It may be terminated if it's not working out, that if it's no longer meeting the needs of the office. But this resolution changes the employment manual to indicate that this is a possibility. And that's the only change it would make. It wouldn't actually expand it to any other department at this time, but it would allow other departments to seek that type of arrangement if at some point in the future they want to do that.
Has there been anybody, Karen, that from any other department that has expressed interest in doing that?
Not yet. No, not now. No. I don't want to, say that only Mainstay can do it, but so far I haven't received indication from other departments that working at home would work well for their department. Just due to the nature of the work they have, due to the nature of their clients, for various reasons.
Yeah, a lot of our departments, it's really customer.
Face-to-face for service, yeah.
Are you looking at me?
Huh?
Are you looking at me?
No, not.
We are,
FaceTime, text,
You can say something if you want.
No, I will be doing that with my office, actually.
Okay.
I need to do it.
Well, that's up to you.
The reason being that the residents that come in and ask, excuse me, for a specific person in my department, and then they can't get their work done. They keep getting interrupted. And right now I have a situation where I have a stack of certificate of errors that I have to file, and I won't be able to file those until after the tax bill comes out. So I will have staff scan those. One of my staff members will just diligently, put those through at home instead of being interrupted at the office space with either phone calls or residents coming up and asking for them. Because we have residents ask for Sam, Debbie, Liz, Dee, but it would just be a full-time person that would do it. And just till I get done with these certificate of errors that I have stacked up.
Okay, all right.
The tax bills came out today, I heard.
They are on the
Online.
treasurer's site, yes, they're on, right now, well, can I just do my thing now then too, if we're talking about that? We are submitting it to these people that receive keys have been like in limbo. We did get a new tax bill for them, so now we have a letter in here from me that I sent out to almost 300 taxpayers that we will be sending them a new tax bill. So now we're working on that.
So it's not you're sending it, the county sending it, right?
They have it online, they won't send it out until later. They're gonna get the old tax bill July 1st, because those are what's coming up. But the new, we have updated for the certificate of errors, which shows their tax bill, what should be paid.
So,
So they could bring it to their bank, you know, they're gonna have a new tax bill. But
so
we
your
only have
office is
so
sending
many.
it out? Oh.
I'm sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, your office is sending out that corrected one, is that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yes, as the county, as the assessor is putting them in, so we are able to see on our system if they've done that, and then we can move up with it to the treasurer, see if they've actually changed and put that exemption in there, and then when we download, we take that tax bill and now we're sending it to them in the mail.
Okay,
So we're working on that.
all right. Okay, well, we actually still have this motion on the table, I think. I don't think we actually voted on it.
It's resolution number 2024-8, right?
Did anyone
No,
make a
there's no
motion?
No,
Okay, all right.
That's the one we're talking about, right?
Right.
Resolution?
we haven't made the motion yet.
Okay,
I forgot.
all right.
So would someone like to make a motion?
I would not.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll make the motion. Motion to pass resolution number 2024-8, Maine Township, a resolution to allow adoption of work from home programs.
Okay, and you're not comfortable with this yet?
No, I've read it, and these are the words I'm completely uncomfortable with. The home program may be discontinued if it no longer meets the needs of the office as determined by the department head, the township administrator, or the township supervisor. So the board's left out, and it's written in the option form. It means any one of those people can decide that they're no longer going to allow work at home, and then that would be the determining factor, based as written by whoever wrote this. So
Okay.
I'll be
Well,
voting
how would you
against.
like to see it written?
I haven't got my drafting notepad out, but it should say that all those people have to be consulted, but it's also the board, and I think it has to be probably a unanimous decision by all of those people, so they all were on the same step with it, the decision, whatever it's made, with respect to any particular employee. It says, as determined by any of those, or any of those one people could do it. For example, a department head could say, I don't want this person working at home anymore, without consulting with Dana, Karen, or the board. That's how it's written, so I would rephrase it.
So,
And I would also hold it off till we have a full board, so we can all read it together and then vote on it, instead of pushing it through too quickly.
all right. What kind of language would you like to see? Would you like to see any changes in it? How would you like to see it worded? Because if we don't vote on it tonight, I don't want to keep coming back to it. I want to make sure everyone's happy.
I mean, I think Jim has a point. I mean, if the board has to vote to enact it, you should probably vote if we decide to discontinue it. So, other than that, I'm okay with
Okay,
I like the way you phrased that better.
so,
The way you phrased it is better than the way I phrased it.
so you would like to see board approval for each department to do it in the future, if they choose to do it? Is that correct? Is that
No, that sentence needs to be, say, that if it can be discontinued, if it no longer meets the needs, as determined by, unanimously, by the department head, the township administrator, the supervisor, and the board.
All right, and to create it, you want unanimous decision also?
I'm going to recommend against having that unanimous requirement, just
Okay.
because, the board's the one setting the policy there, so if the board's going to be the one doing that, I think you just have it be the board.
And eliminate the other options, okay.
Or if you want to have it with the input, I just think having the unanimous in there is going to lead to some complications.
it. Nothing.
All right, thanks. But the input, I like that.
Yeah.
We can still take the input, of course, which what I would not vote until I heard the input from the department head, the administrator, and the supervisor. All three. I want to hear the input before I vote.
I think I agree also that, I don't think I agree. I do agree that we should probably wait till Kelly and Asif are here for this kind of important resolution. They should probably get, especially Kelly, because she has the HR background.
All right, just to get some opinions from this side of the table over here. Pete and Susan, do you have any opinions as to how this resolution should be worded?
I'm fine with adding in, approval of the board. But I don't see any problem with it, or voting on it tonight, whatever you guys are comfortable with.
Okay.
I think the department head would know the necessity of what they need. So I think we have to rely on the department head, like I rely on Rich to tell
Right.
me what he needs, when he knows what's going on in his department. I hate to leave this out for a board who is not, how can I say? Reasonable, and leave a determination for a board that's not reasonable too.
It does say the department head, township administrator, township supervisor. I think James is just saying to also include the board. It doesn't have to be all of them.
Right, just a vote, right, if the board approved it, correct. I guess I shouldn't have used the word unanimously. What I meant by unanimously is all of those voices have been
I
heard.
mean, is it just discontinue the whole program or just a person? Is that what it's, what is it? You're just discontinuing it or a person?
No, I just don't want to vote
Program.
on this particular resolution. right
Program
now.
may be discontinued
As written.
or, so if there's two questions. Who has to agree to adopt it? Right now it says department head, township administrator, and the supervisor have to agree to adopt it.
Or the
Then to
supervisor.
just, okay, department head, administrator, and supervisor. To discontinue it as worded right now, any one of those three can discontinue it. So we can change it, we can say, you can put "and" under discontinue it. You could add the board or take the board away, and one of those, I'm just trying to figure out how to word it.
I would phrase it, if it was me making the decisions like a dictator, which I don't want to do, as determined by a vote of the board after consultation with the department head, the township administrator, and the supervisor. So that it's not written the way it is now, because that's what we're going to be asked to vote on, how it's written currently. And I will be voting no the way it's currently written. I'm not saying I'm against this, or that we can't. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm saying as it's written currently.
But isn't the way it's written now, it's any of those, it's not all of them?
Correct.
It's the
That's
names
right.
of office, by the department head, the township administrator, or the township supervisor. So it could be any one of those individually, but not.
That's how I read it. That's correct. That's how it's written in English currently. Which would give the right to anybody to terminate it with, which I don't think any of us want that.
That would give the supervisor or the administrator the right to terminate it without the department heads.
Right.
I mean, theoretically.
Right.
In-
Way it's
Or
written.
we change that to "and" for maybe Bill to agree. I don't really care, I'm just trying to figure out how to rewrite it, because I don't want to keep coming back over again. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to make sure
I
that
think we've come.
I know what.
I'm not concerned about that. I think we've only brought it up a couple times. And we're moving forward on it quickly. I don't think there's any delay that's being thrust upon us by Jim, because I just want it phrased correctly, that's all.
I just want to make sure I know what people are comfortable with, so
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Well, I'll try and come up with something that I think will be satisfactory. In the meantime, could I have a motion to table this resolution?
Motion to table resolution number 2024-8.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Meyer?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, let's move on to our next item, which is the Troy Conference attendance. Now, I'm going to ask Dana to step up to the microphone. I think she's done some research into what we need to do. Let me just preface her remarks by saying, as you know, most of us, all of us went to the conference last November, and we also discussed possibly inviting some department heads in addition to the board members this coming November. And I think we would all like to be in the same hotel if possible, which is one of the challenges in going to Springfield because they have limited room. So, Dana, I'll let you go ahead with the information you collected.
Okay, so just real quick, I'm just going to take a minute here. In the township perspective is the registration form. So they always send it out in July or November. I know it's kind of early, but that's what they do, I think, because they have so many people that register. So I made a couple packets for everyone, for Asif and Kelly. I'll get it to them the next couple days. Okay, I paperclipped them together. You'll see there's 2 packets. Well, the first packet is titled TOI registration. The second packet is TOI per diem info. Okay, so let me pass it out real quick, and then I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what this is.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
So I just put some dates and some information on this cover sheet. So you'll see that early bird registration is August 1st. If you know that you want to go by then, let me know and I can register you. You're really not saving a lot of money, honestly, if you want to give it more thought. The main registration is not until October. So you could also let me know, obviously, all the way up until, looks like October 25th, but please don't wait until the last day. And as Supervisor Diamond mentioned, it's at Crown Plaza, it's the same place it always is, unless you prefer the Holiday Inn or a farther hotel. It is nice if everyone, I think, is in the same place. I think we're looking at some department heads to attend as well this year, and I'm assuming hopefully if the board wants to go. So it'd be nice if we're all in the Crown Plaza, and obviously that's where everything is. And the earlier that we all register, the earlier, obviously, then we have a chance of all being together. So if you know that you can go, please just email me or call me and let me know, and I'll get that going for you. So let's see what other information I have. Okay, so if you look at the bottom, to do, I'm also attaching something called the Building Illinois' Future Through Gratitude 2024 Trustee Recognition Form. It's kind of wordy. But basically, let's see, that is if you go, I think it's after the housing form. I see it in there.
It's like
Did I include it? I think I included it.
one page into the first staple proof.
Okay. So that was in the Perspective magazine, and I believe that is to recognize trustees. And if you are interested in doing that, you can complete the form and give it to me. I can go ahead and submit that for you. But that's something that that TOI is including this year. Doesn't give too much details, but if you want to submit some information about your fellow trustee. So if anyone's interested in filling that out, you can either send it in yourself or send it to me and I'll get that in for you. And then the other form I have in there is something they're calling the 2024 Trustee Housing Service Project. And they're asking for donations of CDs, DVDs, VHS tapes, cassettes, all those old things we used to use that we can't use anymore. And they're collecting all that at the registration booth when you come in. So these are just things that I noticed are in the magazine that we may overlook that is kind of nice that the conference is doing this year. So I'm also going to keep my eye out for the flag ceremony. I think we missed that last year. We're going to see if they're doing the flag ceremony.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
We didn't bring the flags.
Oh,
I'm
we
gonna see if
didn't, we were there, we witnessed it.
Right.
We did something.
So I'm going to see if we're,
Thank you.
yes, I made a note to see if they're doing it, and if we are, we're going to bring the flags. So I got that on my radar. Okay, and then the only other thing I included is the little second packet is the per diem info. And I think, as you know, the board passed a resolution 2024-4 regarding the reimbursement of travel, meal, and lodging expenses. So that's changed a little bit, and I just included the resolution, and then the last page is the per diem rates for Springfield, just to kind of give you an idea of what can be spent per day for the 3 days if you go.
So probably when the whole board is here, hopefully the most meeting, we can go over these rules again, because they're a little complicated in terms of stating your receipts. You have to do that.
Right.
And there's maximum tier.
Right.
So we just don't want anyone to be, misunderstanding what they need weeks. to-
Right. I think when it gets closer, like
Yeah.
September, October,
That's a good idea.
I think I'll give a quick overview again.
Okay.
Yeah, but just so you have something, for now, just to kind of take a look, only because registration is, something I want everyone to think about. If we can get that going, the next few weeks would be great.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So you don't really need anything from us right now, you're just telling us.
If you know you want to go, let me know.
All right. One other thing I think we should talk about is who the board is willing to pay for other than the board members, and that is the department heads. Jim, or Kim, go ahead, or say something.
Well, I think in the past, we've been nominated or won many awards. And so whoever wins an award should
Oh,
be
sure.
invited to,
Yeah.
of course, whether regardless if they're a department head or not. So I know that's generally the way we do it, but I just want to reinforce that.
Okay. All right. Do we envision paying for other department heads to go, even if they haven't won an award, is my question.
I certainly think it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good educational opportunities down there, so it's not like we're just down there, wandering around Springfield. We're attending classes and learning things that we're bringing back to our township.
It's also good team building experience.
And it's not like the costs are that exorbitant where it's a big expense, but I feel there's still back to the buck with it.
I think they should be invited and if they want to go.
All right. And I think we want to make it clear nobody has to go.
Right.
It's, only if you want to go. You can go if you want to go. As department head.
If you look in this little sheet that I gave you, it looks like they already kind of have an idea of what some of the satellite sessions are going to be. So you can take a look at that later, but
Yeah.
kind of good, good to see what some things are going to be discussed down there.
Okay.
Where are those broken down, Dana, the educational sessions, which could be interesting to department heads, I'm thinking?
Yeah, I mean, there's everything from cybersecurity to, IMRF, stuff like that, which I think is of interest to all of us in this room.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the only thing I asked is if, you want to go, if you can just give me some specifics of, which days you're going to be attending, if you have a hotel preference and whatnot, so.
So I think the hotels are the same, aren't they?
Right.
Crown Plaza and the one right next to it.
Right, I think one of the members had a preference of a different hotel. And also I just need the exact days. Some members I know, because of work, obviously obligations, sometimes not everyone can attend. Some of us go all the way from Sunday to Wednesday, some people they just want to go Monday, Tuesday morning, whatnot. So you can just kind of give me the window of everybody attending.
So,
And the price might be different as well, depending on how long we go.
yeah. And Dave, can you refresh our memory as to when it starts? And is that on Sunday? Is that the first day of actual?
So it's the 11th through the 13th. I think it's actually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I mean, we all go down the day before because, it's I think a 3-hour drive. It's easier to go the day before. I think the opening session is usually around like 8 o'clock. So
On Monday?
it's much, yeah.
Oh,
Because I think we went down last year, Sunday. Yeah.
Usually
Right.
on Sunday.
So with the opening session being early Monday morning, it's easier to to go the night before. You have to get up at, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning otherwise for the drive.
Are there any limits on the number of people we can send? In the past, Kim, when townships went down, we sent a contingent?
There used to be 16 of us, 15,
Yeah.
16 of us that went. Yeah.
Okay.
so we won lots of awards.
Yes, we did. So we're gonna try to apply for as many.
We
as
like
can.
cleaned up.
So you guys can do the nominations, so, think about
Just
that.
saying.
Yeah.
That's why we had to do it. But they don't impose rules on us. We want to give ourselves a reward, or awards, then we can honor ourselves by inviting more people
The
to the
department.
summit, presumably, right?
There's a couple award winners in the room, actually.
Yeah.
Marty Cook, stand up, please.
So, that sounds good.
Okay, anything else on that? No, okay, all right. So we will be sure to let Dana know. All right, okay, moving on to our next matter, that is 4th of July parade grounds. Okay, sent an email to Niles today, because I haven't received anything from them. They said they would send it out tomorrow, but that it was going to be pretty much the same as last year. That is, we meet in the same place, sort of at the north end of the parking lot of Notre Dame High School. So, and you meet there at 8:45, step off is at 9 o'clock. And I have not received anything from Des Plaines yet, but I imagine it's going to be the same as usual. So can everyone tell me if they think they're going to be marching in the parade or not?
I'll definitely be at this point, probably not Niles.
Okay,
It's
Same.
tricky to do both.
all right,
I usually try to do both.
okay. The reason I ask is that Jack is willing to drive in the parade, either the light truck, which has like one extra seat in it, or our van, in which case the van has, I don't know, 10 seats? I don't know. So if he drove the van, when we got to the end of the Niles parade, whoever has been marching in Niles and wants to go to Des Plaines can get on the van, drive to Des Plaines, and get right in that parade. So I'm leaning towards doing that unless you think that's not a good idea for some reason.
Sounds fine, yeah, we used to do that with the bread truck.
You did, you did.
So
Yeah,
it's just a
So-
vehicle, right?
yeah, he said he can keep the doors open so we'll, can take the candy out of there. So, all right, so we'll use the van. All right, good, thanks very much. All right, anything else about parades?
What time does it start? Oh, you don't know.
8:45 is when they ask you to get there for Niles. It really steps off like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Des Plaines follows that.
What's that?
Des Plaines is after that, right, Karen?
Yes.
I should be able to make both of them.
Okay.
Last year.
All right, okay.
That helps.
All right, so now we have official reports. Let's see, Susan, do you want to start? You already told us.
I think I already gave my,
Okay, all right, fine.
the meeting, so I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Ed, you want to talk about stormwater?
I was actually gonna wait for Marty, to be here in one of the meetings, because he had a couple things he wanted to say for that. Regarding the grant, the grants that we received, is that what you're
Yeah,
referring to?
everything, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, they had a press conference yesterday, and they basically were talking about all the grant money that they had funneled out to like 29 projects across the county.
Yeah.
And that was sort of their launching of the news. But if we can talk about it more at a subsequent meeting, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I know Marty was a big help in getting some funding for the township.
Okay.
So I think it'd be good to have him here to talk about it.
Sure.
And then, yeah, I mean, other than that, I know you went down to the press conference yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And then we're still waiting for the state funding and the approval from Quigley for his $475,000 that we requested
Okay.
from the federal side of things.
Okay.
So things are looking up. We're also working on obtaining an easement from the state of Illinois at Harrison there. That is going to be a project that we're doing the final design now. Hopefully that will go step by step in stride with the NWRD project that's happening at Central Road. So if we get that easement, we'll be able to do a flood project on our roads and our ditch lines using state easement that they grant us. So things are looking positive for that project as well. So
Okay.
a lot of things happening soon.
Okay. All right. Well, keep us up to date on that, please.
And then I'd like to say real quick, thanks to Dana and Jack Jack helped out tremendously at that market after dark. It's a new Supervisor Diamond stopped by. It's a
I
new,
didn't see him there.
But you were there, so you're there. But go ahead.
and Trustee Jones stopped by. Basically, it's a new event that Park Ridge is doing. I joined the committee, and it's really a lot of A-list vendors. And there was thousands of people that came out. They're doing it once a month through the summer. So it's the last Saturday of every month. If anyone's interested in attending, it's a lot of fun.
Is
So,
it located where they usually,
the market?
With the farmer's
The
market in the
farmer's
morning
market.
and then the market after dark in the same place. Okay.
It's nice of them.
I'm trying
Thanks.
National Night Out is coming along very well. The next planning meeting will be July 15th at Feldman Center again, and that's when I will be judging the posters for the poster contest. I know we've sent out a lot of applications, so we're hoping to get a good turnout on the posters for this year. And then I will be working the small beer tent Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Jason Library, so come see me, say hello.
Okay, all right, let's see, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, July 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Okay, right, okay, all right, okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, it was a busy week, busy month. We had our neighborhood watch meeting, I went to National Night Out, recycling event, which was, not recycling, shredding event,
right.
thank you. With Trustee Maher and Supervisor Diamond were at. Let's see, there was also, yeah, went to the TAC training in Oak Brook, which was very interesting. And I'm looking forward to the July parade. I want to make an announcement. There will not be a neighborhood watch meeting in July because of the holidays. So typically we don't have one in July, and this year it is the same. And also I'm looking forward to, and I did attend the market after dark, and I was talking to one of the other committee members, and they paid high praise to Highway Commissioner Bouvet, said what an asset he was to the committee and the great job he was doing, so that was really nice to hear, because you are.
We all are.
And,
I appreciate you guys showing up and supporting.
It was
It was amazingly crowded.
I couldn't believe it.
It was really so popular.
Right, for the first time, and the music was great, the crowd was great, everybody was having a great time, enjoying the weather, it was a beautiful evening, so the highway department was working hard in the beer tent, and it was really impressive for the first time, so.
I think people are familiar with the farmer's market, so there's probably already some built-in
Yeah.
knowledge of the area.
They said the vendors sold out of food by like 7:30.
Wow.
Like some of the vendors sold out all their food. Which is understood.
I believe it. So that, I wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July, Independence Day, and I look forward to the Taste of Park Ridge beer tent, and wow, the list goes on and on. So that concludes my report.
Okay, all right. You've heard about some of the things that we did the past month. I also went to a pride flag raising at the Displays. You were there.
Yeah, sure.
And Main Street was ice cream social, that was fun.
Forgot that one.
Forgot that one, okay. Morton Grove legislative update, that was at the library early in the morning, earlier this month. I did two things just by Zoom. One today, actually, I met with some PACE officials regarding this next steps that we need to take to move along towards getting it done. And there's a lot of steps. But I filled out a form, like a 15-page form, and they went over it and told me why I hadn't changed any parts of it and do it over again. So I'll be working on that again. They want everything filled out in a certain way, so I'm working on that. And also I had a meeting along with, let's see, Ruba and Dana, I think you run it too, with GovGR, GovHR. And this is to move along towards getting the compensation study done. And Ruba has taken some steps towards getting them the documents, including all the position descriptions, all the salaries that we have. God, if there's something else, I can't remember. That's
The document they requested, it has all the information between the titles, the names, the positions, and the salaries, the status of part-time, full-time, and full-time position.
Okay, all right, fine. So one thing that we were a little surprised at, because when we were looking at all the materials from HR. We liked them for one of the main reasons is that they were local. They're a Northbrook company, they said on their brochure. But we actually found we were dealing with a rep in South Carolina. So that was a bit of a surprise. And so I'm having a call into them saying that we really thought we were going to work with someone local, especially if there's any reason we needed to meet them in person, or if it would help for them to know a little bit more about our community. It would be helpful to have a local person doing this. So that was just a little wrinkle that we have run into with that. So, but that concludes my report. Anyone add anything else? Yeah.
I just had a couple things.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. I just wanted to thank all the employees who participated in the shredding event. Another very successful event. I think it was basically Jack and one employee, and then one of Mike's employees, the young lady who was working at Steve.
Jessica.
Jessica and Steve,
And
right?
Steve, yeah, and Jack. And you were there early.
Yeah.
And Kim was there, and I was there.
I just thought it was an exceptional event, Karen, how well it ran, and Karen was a witness, of course, and Kim as well, how efficient it was. At first, there was a lot of big traffic jam at first, but then once we got started and everybody got going, it's a very popular event, and I think we need to publish it more and get it out, and what we do for the community by this event, because it's very popular, and we're going to continue to have a lot of popularity. And secondly, I want to thank Marty Cook. I attended a special event for a Friday night speech. He had a speaker, Marty's Recovery Connection. I encourage people to go there. We have special speakers. It's on Friday night at the Oasis Water Park. This is one of the most inspirational speeches I think I've ever heard. This black gentleman spent basically his entire juvenile life and his adult life in prisons, basically riding the CTA subways, trying to steal from people. All drug crimes and theft type crimes. He was even on death row for a while for a murder he didn't commit. And he was talking about the crimes he did commit and didn't commit. And he went from a person who had no life at all other than jail to a person with a master's degree who counsels other people. And so that's how far he's come. So the point I got from his speech, which was really inspirational, is no matter how bad it seems to be, there's always hope. If you accept yourself and your weaknesses and you want to change, you can change. So anybody who counsels others and teaches others about hope in the future and turning your life around, that speaker was absolutely exceptional. Maybe we can acquire him and have him speak to some people, students who are having trouble or people who are having trouble, because it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how meaningful it was to me to hear a person who's that down on his life and turned it around so impressively. It was unbelievable. So thank you, Marty, for that speaker, and hopefully we can have some more like that, because it was really something. What was his name? Mr. Lee?
Benny Lee.
Benny Lee, yeah, Benny Lee. And that's it, thank you.
Okay, all right. But Mike, just to clarify, you don't want us to just drop in on those meetings. I understand you want us
Right, that was
to
a
give you
special.
at least a week notice before we come. Or are there some meetings that are special that we can just come? I'm not.
Well, that was a special event that he was talking about, because we brought in a professional speaker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I meant to go, but
I didn't know that was open to us without making arrangements ahead of time. So are there more coming up that are special events like that?
We generally have per season a special speaker per season. So, yes, in the next couple of months, we'll have a guest speaker of that caliber.
All right. Would you let us all know if that is coming up?
Sure.
Okay, all right. Because I think other board members would like to know that too.
I found it out kind of late though, but I did kill him.
yeah.
So I apologize, I
I
should have let
actually
everyone know.
intended to go, and I ended up having a conflict. I actually really wanted to go.
It was in my newsletter that I send out every week. I think that's how you guys heard about it.
And you have someone speaking every week though, right?
Correct, but.
I mean, I don't know which ones are.
Well, in the newsletter that we sent out, it was kind of called a special event, because we have a special flyer. We typically don't identify our speakers, but this guy, we wrote, there was this picture and there was a little blurb about how he went from this life to another life. And we had promoted it
for a full month before he came. So I think I'm assuming that's how you guys knew about it, Jim, through our newsletter.
Yeah, you gave me a copy of it. That's the only, I found out about it late, but I don't know how you could have a better story than that. How you could be that strong to go from that, the bottom to where he is now. It's just unbelievable.
Yep.
With no education to a lot of education.
Right.
And that's what opened the door for him, I think.
Yeah.
This counseling and teaching himself how to not make mistakes. And other people had confidence in him, gave him jobs. Right? First job was a warehouse worker, right? He worked in a dock or something like that. Now he's got a master's degree. So he starts working minimum wage and, 20 years later, now he's 60 or 70 years old, right?
Yes.
Said he spent a whole
That's correct.
life career.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so the last thing we have, well, not the last thing, the next thing we have is closed session is on our agenda. So may I have a motion to go into closed or executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation which is probably imminent, security procedures, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, threatened, or reasonable potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property, and discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. So may I have a motion to go into executive session for that purpose?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Meyer?
Yes.
Okay. We are back in open session. Do you need to take a roll call again? Or do you forget to do that? No, you don't. You don't. Okay, all right. The minutes can indicate that we're here. It's here. All right. We were just discussing PACE and the approval process, and I don't really know how long it takes to get this approved. And I think it depends a lot on how quickly we fill out forms and how quickly they approve them, and a lot of different factors can affect the process of it. So I suppose the short answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway, what we have now is we are looking at voting on approving actually a couple new positions that we haven't had in the past. And one is a part-time position for Recovery Connection, up to 19 hours to provide services to for community outreach. All right. We have a motion to create a part-time position up to 19 hours for Recovery Connection to perform community outreach duties.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? We have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
And Trustee Meyer?
Yes.
All right, so then we have a second one to create a part-time position up to 19 hours for a bus driver to drive a PACE van that we intend to rent in the future.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
And Trustee Meyer?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Meyer?
Yes, please.